What was that silliness all about? Before I get to that, let me take a few moments to do a shout out to some of the people that have helped me personally and this channel over the last 6 months. Now I know many of you have helped me in many ways, comments, contributions, but in the last 6 months there's been some people that have really stepped up and have helped me both personally during my move and to help this channel keep going. And one of them is Calvin. One of them has been Harvey, a good friend of mine. All of these are good friends of mine. Toroff has helped me tremendously. And Keith Good has also been very instrumental in assisting with this channel, a new friend, and he again is the person that provided me with the material for this particular video. So, what was that silliness about with this case? What is in this case? Let's take a look. This is by far the coolest way that I've ever received an item for this channel. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I still do. I enjoy this. This case, to me, and yes, it is locked for security reasons. This case, to me, looks like it's at least as old as I am. What's inside it is just completely incredible. And this is what's inside. Hopefully that doesn't hit the... a blank piece of paper. I'm going to put that off to the side. Ta-da! Look at this. Hopefully this case doesn't topple the camera over. This is an engine that I have been waiting to feature on my channel for several years, actually. Probably almost 2 years ago. I was tracking one of these on eBay and I almost pulled the trigger and I think someone bought it out from under me. Yes, this is the Saito FA220. This is just a magnificent engine, and the fact that it came in this case is just really cool. Now, I have played with this a bit since it arrived, so Keith, it doesn't look like it's packed the same way as when you sent it to me because I played with it some. But anyway, let's move the case off to the side for now. In the box, in the case, came the exhaust, stock exhaust, and I don't know if you noticed it, but probably not. This coil of copper or brass wire was wrapped around the header here for the exhaust. Now the reason that was there and I've taken it off is the seller that Keith bought this from on eBay, from what I recall from the story, was that this engine had only been run once and this was set up to be a smoke system. So there's actually another port here on the exhaust or on the muffler as opposed to the factory one also. So apparently this person was going to inject oil into this thing and have it be a smoke system. I took this off and I'm probably going to take this port off also because it's just not necessary. Anyway, so that is that. But according to what Keith had told me and what the seller told him, this was only bench run. He didn't say how many times, but the engine just looks pristine. Now, the one thing that I've noticed I think is funny is every time I've seen one of these, this side, the left side of one of these 220s, I always thought there was something going on with this area here. And I don't know if you're going to get a good enough look at it. There is something going on there. There's a little word there, and it says Grand. I had to get my magnifier out and look at it. It says Grand Saito. And I've also heard this engine referred to as Zeus, or at least Harvey told me he's heard this thing referred to as Zeus. Now, I just noticed something I'm going to get back to. Has anybody else that owns one of these things heard them referred to as Zeus? Wouldn't surprise me. This is a 220A version. I don't believe they made anything other than the A version, and that's one of the reasons why I had this blank piece of paper here, which is also going to be the subject of probably another video, which is Sato engine manuals. But I don't know, the lighting just doesn't look too good here. By the way, I'm not in my living room, I'm in a different room. Set up the YouTube studio, hopefully so I can keep it set up for longer periods of time. Anyway, this is the cover sheet of a manual, the modern booklet style manual for Sato engines. This one says version 2005 on it. Now, I don't have copies of all of these different manuals, and I had a hard time finding other versions of the manuals. I did find some today and printed out just the front pages. And I don't want to get into this because it's going to be the subject of another video, but to me it looks like 2005 was about the time that this engine came out. And I say that because typically when they put the image of an engine on one of their manuals for an updated release of the manual, it's typically, and it makes more sense, the latest engine, or maybe it's the largest engine of the group. Anyway, we'll get into that more in another video. So this thing, I believe, had a very short production life. Let's zoom in here. Because, and this might kind of go into that other video too, it just seemed like it didn't last long. And I believe, and let me get to this before I forget. You see that little part there? That's a little breakout in the casing from when they drilled and tapped this screw for the intake manifold. I just noticed that. I don't know if anybody else has a 220, if you see the same thing, but I'm seeing that. The other thing that I want to talk about real quick is, obviously this has the Horizon Hobby Diamond H, but this is also an A version. Can I get the right angle here to show you the A? Anyway, that's an A. First edition, first version of the engine. So this is the B style case, because they had already changed these cases for the 150s, 180s, some of the other smaller ones too, so that there was more here and you had just this flat cam cover as opposed to the cam cover that, you know, came down more. But anyway, I believe this was a fairly short production engine run. I don't know exactly, 5-6 years. I don't understand. I don't know why. I don't know all the history. I just guess a lot about this stuff based on some of the facts that I see. But as far as I know, this is the single largest displacement single-cylinder four-stroke engine, RC four-stroke engine ever made. Now I know OS put out this super expensive 200, which was fuel injected and all this stuff, and it's like a $2,000 engine. Obviously, Sato, and I don't know which one came out first, but if the OS one came out first and this was Sato's answer, and the answer was, well, we're bigger and we're less expensive and we're not so complicated and people can afford us. Makes sense. Either that, or if this came out first, OS said, well, we're going to make the displacement smaller, so expensive, so well engineered that nobody can afford it. I don't understand what OS was thinking, and I'm just guessing here. But anyway, I believe that being the 220, that this is the largest single-cylinder four-stroke engine for RC use ever made. If others are larger, then let me know. Now, in the box, you also saw this, which just arrived minutes ago. And it's a high-speed needle because this actually, when I was looking at this the other day, I noticed that there was no high-speed needle that came with this engine. And obviously I need that to run it. So, got the high-speed needle. I think I ordered it yesterday, 2 days ago, and it's here already. Freaking, I love living that close to Champaign, Illinois, because things from Horizon Hobbies arrive very quickly. Anyway, this is the Grand Sato, Zeus, as we can call it, the 220. Now, what I will do, because the weather is not conducive, I am considering, since we were told, Keith and I, or Keith told me and he was told, that this was run on the bench. To me, this thing looks brand new. I mean, yes, I can tell by looking at the exhaust stem that it has been run, but I don't know how much. And it has got such massive compression that I don't even think I can turn it over. So what I'm going to do also is I'm going to do a look inside video of this. I want to take these rocker covers off and at least take the rear cover off and just get a look inside and see what the condition of the engine is and just look and see what it is before we take it out and play with it, because right now the weather is not conducive here. I've got so many engines that I could take out and run, ones that I've done quick runs in the garage that I really want to get out to the field and do real runs under better lighting conditions where I can use the tachometer. So I've got a pile of engines stacked up waiting to be run, and I'm looking for ways that I can continue making videos until the weather is more conducive for it. So thank you very much, Keith, for the donation of this engine for the channel, and we will be seeing more of this inside and outside. So thank you.